Hello, welcome everyone to our first Meet the Matchday team session on Discord. I see some people still joining, but yeah, we will start. Really happy to see some of you already here. So many people excited about the project. My name is Joan. I'm the social media manager for Matchday, and we have interacted a bit with some of you here in the channels, and I'm very excited to greet you all here. But let's get to the chase, and let's introduce Sebastien that is here with us today. Hi, Sebastien.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Sebastien is the co-founder and of Matchday and the chief gaming officer of this project, and he'll be the one answering your questions. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm really excited. It's early in the morning here in San Francisco, where I'm based, and super glad to be here and meet everyone.
Cool. Okay, let me briefly explain you how this session will work. We'll start with a brief overview of what Matchday is, what we want to achieve, and how you, the community, are going to be a big part of that. And the chat is always active here. You guys can share your questions live. Sebastien will start answering a selection of the questions that you shared on the first part, but then when we're done, we will answer some of the live questions if we have time. So post them in the chat, and we'll do our best to get as many as possible. Let's start then with a little overview of Matchday. Sebastien, the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan, and great to meet you, everyone. This is, you guys are very, very special because this is the very first AMA that we are doing here at Matchday. So it's a special moment in history. Thank you all for joining. And this session is also recorded as a reminder, so it will be shared later for others who don't live in compatible time zones. So just, what is Matchday? Why are we here and why are we doing this? I think that Matchday really started as a dream that we all had, a dream to try to, invent something new in the realm of football video games. We've all grown up loving the sport, and when matches are not on, playing games which have been really magical experiences, and games like EA's FIFA or Pro Evo or many other online football games like Football Manager. And these games have really been fantastic and defined the era of their time. But whenever a new technology comes around, there is the chance to invent something new. And we wanted to bring the game world closer to the Web3 world and create a new type of experience that is really uniquely powered by the blockchain. And so that's really Matchday's mission. Matchday's mission is to try to create something new, something that does not exist, that's uniquely powered by these emerging technologies. And this has happened before, so maybe as a short introduction about myself, I've been a video game entrepreneur my entire life. I was lucky enough that when I finished my studies, I started playing around with early mobile phones and thinking this would be an amazing platform to play games. And those mobile phones at the time had black and white screens and buttons, and this was really a crazy idea. And we launched a company with a few friends to try to explore that. And it was very clunky. Things did not really work. The phones were early programmable J2ME and Brew phones, but we managed to create a few games. I remember one of our first demo was a very simple game of tic-tac-toe that you could download over the air and play over the network with your friends. And people were not impressed and said, this is, really lame. This is never going to work. And yet, so many years later, our company grew and ultimately became Glue Mobile, which went public. And even that was not the end, because when the iPhone was launched in 2007 by Steve Jobs, the first year, you might remember when he made a big speech, he said, this is an iPod for music, this is an internet device for navigating the internet, and this is a phone. And we all said, and this is going to be the next gaming device. And indeed, the following year, if you look at his speech, he came back on stage and said, yes, this is going to be a great gaming device. And so I think we had no idea when we got started about what the iPhone would unleash as a revolution. And I draw this parallel because at Matchday, we think we are, in these early phases in the Web3 family, that technologies are ramping up, technologies are exciting, they are explorative, they are evolving all the time, but they're ready for applications, they're ready for utility, they're ready for fun. And that's what Matchday is about. We are ultimately a video game company trying to build a new type of football game for as many people as we can, but bringing something unique from the blockchain. And what is that is unique? It's really ownership. The fact that you can own assets in the game, that you can own your players, that they are yours to do whatever you want to do. And what are those things that you could do with them? Well, you could take them and insert them into one of our games and play a game that's designed with you and for you, a game that you love, but your friends might decide to insert them into another game, or even decide to just hold them for collectible value, or decide to sell them to other friends because you are looking for a specific player, or to auction them. There's really many things that you do, but whatever you do, you're reaping the value of these because, of course, all these cards are NFTs. Now, many of you here today, because you are up early, you discovered us early, you already know many of those things, and you already have high expectations because you're all Web3 users, most of you. Some of you are new to the space. And what we were trying to do is to really be friendly to everyone who is not part of the current Web3 community, and to invite them in a way that is really focused on the game first, on fun first. That's one of our main value, is to just develop a game that's fun first and foremost, enabled by Web3 technologies, not the opposite way around. And so you'll see us trying to avoid jargon as much as possible. You'll see us enabling people to just log in with an email and password and take care on the back end of custodian wallets and all kinds of different infrastructure pieces that make the game work. But you'll also see links and winks to all of you who want to connect your wallets, who later want to export your cards, who want to trade them and do a lot of the things that one would expect in the Web3 community. So bear with us, because as some of you already noticed in our Discord, we are going to be a slightly different type of Web3 community. We're not just another project. We are really a game company. And so on that note, let's talk about games. Let's talk about what we're trying to do, what are our source of inspiration, and then answer questions that you guys might have. I will end this intro by saying that we're just getting started. We've been doing games for our entire life across multiple platforms, multiple genres, with hundreds of millions of users, and we're really, really passionate about this. We are also very humble. We know there are many things we don't know, and there are many things that you do know, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear your ideas. We really value and we read all the different ideas that get expressed on Discord. They fuel the discussion here, and so you should feel really part of the extended team, because that's really a role that you have. So this is a unique chance to be listened to influence our strategy. We will be talking very openly about our plans, about our ideas, and we welcome feedback. So please don't be shy, ask questions, give your feedback, and we really value it. All right. So Jean, I don't know if I know that questions have been pouring even before the chat started. So I don't know if you want to start going through some of the top questions. And I do encourage people that if you have more questions as we go, to list them in the chat, and we will select as many as we can.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, a video game company, video game community, first days we had, and some people on the community were already asking. First days we had was this prediction challenge for the World Cup. Will the game that it's planned to launch in 2023 be similar to this, or we're envisioning something different?
It's a very good question, and I just want to be completely honest with you. This is not our game. This is a game that we have developed in an extremely tight time frame, in about 6 weeks, to do something fun together for around the World Cup. It is a game that we developed in partnership with our partner FIFA, and was really centered not around predictions per se, but around the fun of sharing predictions with your friends and hinting at what could happen if you had the right type of cards in your collection. Because as you might have realized, not only do you get points when you make a prediction that is correct for an upcoming match, but you get bonus points if you have the cards in your squad of a player that does well in one of those matches. So there are two ways to progress in that game. of course, make as many predictions as you can and challenge your friends and see who's going to be right around those predictions. That's one. And then the second one is get more points if you have the right type of players who are playing in the upcoming matches, and those bonus points will automatically be added to your total. So it is a very light, very small experience, and we have much bigger plans for 2023. But as a game company, we like to seize the moment and to transform them into small moments of fun. And so that's what we did with Matchday Challenge for the World Cup. Now, we love predictions. I hope you do too. We think it's fun, and we intend to continue doing social predictions in the future. But that is really, one of the many game activities that we'll be offering to the community, and it has nothing to do with what we would call our first big release in 2023, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah, it's been this World Cup hasn't made it easy to make predictions, which made it way more fun. So yes, I'm very looking forward to see what's next. We on the community, people have been asking that they all have seen the very cool Matchday cards. They have seen the FIFA World Cup edition, and they were wondering what are the plans with this. At the moment, you can just collect them, but what functionalities do you have planned for the future?
Yes, no, that's a really great question as well. So the cards obviously is where it starts. So you can think of what we're building at Matchday of being made of three big components. The first one is the collect component, which is all about the cards. The second one is the trade component, which is all about your friends, the community, and interacting to find the right type of cards that you really want. And then the last part, of course, is to play once you have the cards that you want, to insert them in a game and really immerse yourself in the world of football. So right now we are at the beginning of the first pillar. So to make no mistake, this is very early days. Our goal is, of course, to bring you and footballers closer together and building this great ecosystem. And it all starts with the cards, right? So the way you can think of the cards, is not just as an NFT. I think that's a very sort of a small perspective on what the cards are. The cards, think of them more as, the keys to the game that we're building. So, you'll be able to insert the cards you're collecting now and play the games with them. You can have, we'll soon be able to arrange your cards into squads. And yes, we will have, multiple squads and really build your collection over time so that you can play different modalities of the game with your card collection. Now, the trade component, of course, is going to be going live very soon, and that's going to be a chance for you to exchange your cards, sell your cards, or buy cards from the Matchday community. We already heard lots of feedbacks. We published a roadmap yesterday on some of those things. We heard lots of feedback from many of you around our plans for the marketplace, and so we're taking this at heart, and we are actually modifying some of our plans based on what you've told us. And we will continue to hone our plans as we go forward. But right now, I think one of the main goals of the Matchday community is to discover cards, to collect cards, to send cards to your friends, and to really create a healthy card ecosystem ahead of trading and ahead of playing. These cards as well come in different rarities, and we've announced the fact that right now, many of the cards that you have seen are what we so-call the common cards with a light background. You will see higher rarity cards being released in limited numbered editions. So these will be very, very special cards. And of course, on top of this, you have the World Cup FIFA limited edition cards. So those cards are extra special because they have been developed in partnership with FIFA. They have the FIFA branding and the World Cup on the card, and these will be time limited edition. Once they're gone, and we will stop releasing them at the end of the World Cup. So I think, one of the benefits of being here early, like you all are, is to really build a collection using those unique cards that no one will ever be able to get after the World Cup is over.
Exciting. Yes, it's a great opportunity right now with this edition. Let's move forward to the next question. Do you have an estimated timeline for the development and launch of the game? We kind of mentioned it, but maybe you can give us more details, Seb.
Yeah, absolutely. So this project, this company was has been many years in the making. You probably all read, the story with Leo Messi being a co-founder and us, working with Fifth Pro and FIFA on the rights to really bring the community what everyone wants, which is, footballers into the ecosystem and likeness on the card, and trying to really sort of be inclusive and try to get as many footballers as we can, both men and women. And so this has been a huge effort before we even built anything. We got started properly in July, assembling the team and building a really amazing team. And I'm super proud of the studio that Matchday has assembled. We are talking about some of the best video game talent from around the world. And so that is really a really important part of our DNA. So since then, because the World Cup, timeline was not movable, we developed, we developed our cards first to really put them in your hands, and then we developed a World Cup Matchday Challenge minigame to build up the excitement and launch all of the different activities. We are still in that launch phase. We have many things we are working on that are not live and will come live soon. In terms of the game itself, our scheduled release is 2023, and what we are going to do is it takes time to build a great game, but it will not be one big release. Rather, in the old days, as there would be like a release weekend, or like sort of everyone would line up and try to get access to the game. We think that that's not the right way to proceed. Rather, what we want to do is slowly show you what we're working on, asking you for your feedback. And inviting you to truly be part of the team. After all, we want a game. We want to build the game that you all want to play, and we don't want to make too many hypotheses. We'd rather ask you. So the fact that you're here early means you're interested, and we will be more and more going to you and asking you for your feedback and trying to build the game that really the community wants to play. And it's a very large community, so we understand there'll be many different voices. So our timeline here is going to be to start sharing things as early as Q1 next year, so in the January, February, March timeframe, and show you concept art, show you playables, show you some experiments we are doing, and continue to build around the core game during the rest of 2023 to continue to evolve it. As a matter of fact, we think that this game is going to continue to evolve for a very long time as we continue to hone features and to develop new aspects of the game in response to what's happening, inside the community. So, in summary, expect, the first Matchday game to be released early in 2023, and to be building from this. So, not one big release, but rather what we call a community release, which is, having you all involved and having gated access for those who are most passionate about developing the experience, and then slowly opening up to the rest of the community.
Yeah, exciting. So keep an eye here on our Discord, because great things are to come. Let's move to the next one. People here in the community wondering, it seems like different people play for different reasons. Some want to play a new football game, and others are here to invest in NFTs. How are you planning to manage these different type of players?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So let me go back to what I was saying at the beginning. Why are we doing this? There are, roughly 5 billion people who are watching this World Cup, and there's a lot of emotion, as you said, Johan. Even my heart stops more often than not, because there's so many surprises in this World Cup, right? And so what we are trying to do here is to really build a game that anyone who's interested in football can join. And so that means, first of all, that the game, we really are going to try super hard to keep it free to play. We want to have, a very easy way for people to access the game, for casual fans who just want into the game, just want to have an experience that connects with their football passion and play the game. And so we have an internal word for this. We call this filling up the stadium. We think that, many Web3 projects have very high entry barriers because it's quite complicated to get set up. It can be quite expensive to get started. And some of those games are really fun, but the community ends up staying relatively small. In our world, from the video games world, we've always tried to open the door to as many people as possible. It should not matter whether you live in Turkey, in Indonesia, in Mexico, in the US, in England, or wherever you are based. We want this game to be accessible for you. So the free-to-play component is going to be important, and people who want to come purely for the game, purely for the entertainment, will be able to do so with minimal barriers. So that's value number one. But we also know that many people, and many people from the Web3 community specifically, but from other communities as well, just love the collectible nature and the tradable nature of the in-game assets, of our player cards. The cards are beautiful. We've put a lot of work into those cards. And you have not seen anything yet because we have big plans for how they're going to evolve over time. And those cards are going to become, really special, treasures in someone's collection. And so, that is something that where we are trying to learn from the best of Web3 experiments, working on, sort of using a lot of the mechanism that have been tried in other Web3 communities, learning from the successes, but also learning from the failures. And we're going to try, to emulate some of the things that have worked well and that you all want to see. And we're going to try to avoid some of the things that have been, not so successful, and whether tried by others or tried by us in the early days. So what does that mean? Well, for example, one of the biggest thing is that, of course, the cards being NFTs, you'll be able to trade them, and you'll be able to export them to your wallet and do whatever you want with the card. And as a reminder, of course, for those of you who are perhaps new Web3 users, if you sell your card in a marketplace, on the Matchday marketplace, to a friend or to another fan in another country, the proceeds from that sale go to you, the player, not to us, the company. And I think that's really important because we all know how much time it takes to assemble a collection, to curate it, to find that rare card. And so one of the big things that we want to offer is all of that value to be distributed to the players and not to us, the developer. So I think that's one of the major sort of aspects of the cards being NFT in this game. And the other thing is the openness of the community. As you realize, because you're all here, we are a community-first project. This is very unusual in the game world. As for those of you who are gamers, you probably know this. But game companies tend to be very secretive about what they're working on, and develop projects internally with code names and work on them for months and months and months, sometimes years, and then do like very limited alpha releases, and then comes the big day where you really make a lot of noise about your game and you hope that people like it. In some cases, you're right, and people really love it. In other cases, and actually in many cases, people are a bit disappointed about what they see, and the game does not take off. We are taking a different approach, very much inspired by the Web3 ethos of being opened and decentralizing in our decision making, is to consider all of you part of the game team, to take your feedback, to include you in the decision making, and you will be seeing a lot more of this coming on. So we're not afraid of doing our design and doing our making our mistakes very publicly, so that we can together develop a game that we can be super proud of and that we want to play for many years. Because that's the one thing that football brings, of course, because this is about football. Football is very long-term engagement. There's a match and there's a season on for, every year for as far as the future can hold. And so, we want to develop this for the very long term. This is not a flash in the pan. This is something that has very long longevity. So, many Web3 users have been asking me, like, what's so special about this project? What I would say is, compared to others, which I really love, like the early project, like CryptoKitties or Axie and all of those amazing, experiments, is that these were the early days, but it's very hard to sustain a community over time, right? And so we are building for the long term. And one of the beautiful things about football is that your cards will remain relevant for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, when you get some cards of a young player and you might think, oh, this is, not so exciting because this is, not a top player today. Wait, look up this player, look up their history, look up what they're up to, look up, the early days if you can find information about those, because there's a lot of information out there, not on match day, but in the real world, which will tell you how valuable this player could become over time. And I think that is, a really exciting part of mixing reality with fantasy, is that footballers are real people, just like you and me. They have a career, they have ups, they have downs, and they can surprise us as they often have during the World Cup. But these cards are really linked to the real world. And so we hope that this intersection between the real world and the Web3 world is going to be a new and an exciting one. And we have many plans to make it even more exciting in the future.
It does sound exciting, indeed. A lot of talk about bringing communities together, football, Web3. There's a couple of football questions. First one is, which team's level of play has surprised you the most in the World Cup? And if you allow me, Sebastien, I'll take this one first. Because, I saw yesterday Japan beating Spain. Super unlikely outcome for me. But it's not just the level of play of Japan that let the other team dominate them for long stretches of the game, but actually just the fact that whenever they feel like or whenever they need it, they just switch on some kind of internal switch or internal button, and they score like 2 goals in 5 minutes. They did that against Spain. They did that against Germany, and that has been just so much fun to watch, and I've been really enjoying that.
Yeah, and I think, John, this is one of the things which, again, is a source of inspiration for all of us, as you know, is, the fact that teams, after so many years of the sport existing, still can surprise us, not just by the game, but by their tactics and how they, like this switch on like this. I mean, I can imagine in the future, us introducing or trying to capture some of those moments to say like, wow, this was the Japan effect of like, being, playing a certain way and then suddenly kind of pressing the turbo, so to speak, and just, really kind of surprising us. So there were so many surprises like this in this World Cup, some due to the teams, some frankly also due to the tournament rules, which I always sometimes take me aback. But that's what really football is all about. So, if you ask me personally, I've been quite impressed by Morocco. And of course, I say that because, I have grown up in Belgium, so I support Les Diables, and I was super, super happy when in my first pack, I got Kevin De Bruyne. That was a great surprise. But, I have to say that the Sabiri really scored one of the top goals of the tournament when his first goal gave Morocco the lead in the second half. And, ultimately, I think they deserved the final victory at 2-0. I was super sad to see, Belgium being beaten. But, it's exciting to see a team like Morocco playing super well and playing at their top and seeing the kind of emotion. Yes, it's a surprise. Yes, I was disappointed, but, it's very exciting. That's why football is, better than any game, is that doesn't matter the level at which it's played. It always surprises you.
Yeah, it's especially this World Cup is surprising everyone with these results. Just a quick reminder to all of you that we have our own coverage, especially on Twitter of the game. So if you are not following there, we highly encourage you that. I'm the social media manager, so of course I'll do that. Another football question, Sebastien: is there a favorite team in the office?
The $1 million question. It's one of the things that is the most fun at Matchday, and you'll get to know us all, over time, so you get to appreciate this. But we come from all around the world, right? It's really a global team, and the reason we've done this is because football is a global sport, and we want all different perspectives and cultures and allegiances represented. So, as a consequence, team members support lots of different teams, and that can be, pretty interesting sometimes. And of course, some team members are diehard fans of a specific team because they follow them since they were born. But others, can be binationals or flip-flop between multiple countries where they might have lived or where they have strong allegiances. But, I have to be honest with you. Of course, we all know that Argentina is going to do super well. And obviously they have a secret weapon who also happens to be a co-founder at Matchday, and so I think we're all secretly rooting for Argentina, even though not everyone admits it. But now that Belgium is out of the World Cup, I can openly support Argentina. So complicated question, and some of you might not have a favorite team, or might just be watching the game from more of the sidelines. And I know this is more common than it can seem. And what I would say is that match day is a great way to just get to know the sport, not just by learning the rules and learning like what is an offside and all those kinds of things, but follow us on Twitter, like see the big moments, see the recap, just have fun, predict, guess the outcome of some games in the prediction game, and see if you were right or not. And most importantly, look at the cards that you got. Each card is a real player. Look up the player. Look up at the history. Don't hesitate to post, some of the facts that might not be known to others here on Discord. We all love to learn about, footballers, and there's so many amazing talent out there. It's impossible for anyone to know everything. And so, I personally really enjoy like getting a card and saying, oh, I really don't know who this player is. And looking them up and understanding, some of their performance, and trying to form a sort of a mental image in my mind of like, okay, like this is someone I need to watch, someone I need to that deserves to be better known. And so I think over time we will probably do more of this, like discovering new players and having player of the week, or having discussions about specific teams, and getting all this great knowledge that's in your minds, out there, so that we can all benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, so many conversations already around here in Discord with Argentina's number 10, and that's the excitement of football. That's exactly what we want to bring here. Let's move to some live questions from the chat here. The first one is, what is the difference between normal cards and World Cup editions? Is it worth to hold World Cup editions? You already mentioned a bit of the value, but if maybe you can go a bit more deeper into these differences.
Yes, of course. So for those of you who have seen both editions of the card, you can get a player in at the moment 2 different editions. There will be many more to come. Right now, what we call the standard edition is the season edition. So this is a player which will have on the side of the card season 2022-2023, right? So those are one way to get the cards for all the players that are currently on match day. Now, some players obviously have been selected and made the World Cup. That's a small group of players, and those players get a special card. They get a FIFA 2022 World Cup edition card. So not all players have that special edition, only those who participate in the World Cup. And those cards have a special design. They include the FIFA branding, they include the World Cup branding, they include the World Cup trophy in the bottom right, and they are time limited. So we started to offer them just before the World Cup, and we will end after the final of this World Cup. Then no more cards will be issued. They will come in different rarities as well. So you'll have the common World Cup cards, and you'll have various levels of rarity, all the way down to unique cards per player. And whoever owns these cards will own a very special asset that will never be re-edited. And our goal is to really try to memorialize those football events from the real world, so that we can keep them for years to come, because we want to sort of capture the emotion of this World Cup. So the cards themselves have 2 dimensions, the utility dimensions and the collectible dimension. In terms of collectability, I'm trying to get as many World Cup cards as I can, because I really want to keep those and I want to have them in my collection as a reminder of the 2022 World Cup. And they will be special to me, as I hope they will be special to you. And in terms of utility, at the moment in the Matchday Challenge game, for example, it does not matter whether you have an Mbappe or a Messi that's a standard edition or a World Cup edition. The important thing is that this is Mbappe, and therefore you will get points if he scores. In the future, we are having one of our question is going to be, should we or should we not add some special utility attributes to the cards given their edition. So if you have the card of a specific player during a specific event, should that give you or not an advantage in the game if you played that card? Now, it's really interesting. We are listening to the conversation. We're taking part of it. Please express your opinions. We would love to hear from you there. What I can tell you is that if you go into like a chess parlor, for example, and you see people playing chess, and some people bring their own pieces, the boards are provided by the parlor, and you can play chess with wooden piece, with plastic piece, or with solid gold pieces. And these will attract a lot of attention and will have very high collectible value and would be very unique, but it won't make you a better chess player. It might indicate that you're a better chess player, a more successful player, an earlier, more player than some others, but it will not affect the game of chess. And so, what we are trying to do from a game design perspective is make sure that we are always maintaining a level playing field for everyone playing, no matter at which stage you have collected your cards, but reward players who have come early or who have attended special events with better value for their cards, in terms of the asset that they collect. That is our current view. It's evolving. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. It's definitely an interesting topic and one that we will experiment with.
Yes, also interesting because here in the live chat, there's interest about these special editions. One of the questions is how are we able to get other rarities? Is it through a next pack release or by forging/merging?
So that's the other rarities that we talked about will be announced soon, and the details will be announced soon. Initially, it will be through several mechanisms. It will be through pack release. It will be through special rewards for contests or special events that we might be holding. And we are looking very closely at forging, or what that essentially means is trading certain cards that you might have in your collection or multiple cards in your collection for a high rarity card. And we're looking at all of those mechanics in detail. And again, we'll be experimenting with some of those. But initially, it will really be focused on pack distribution and really on luck around what you will be getting in terms of the other rarities. This is again in the spirit of us trying to be as inclusive as possible and making sure that the only way to get high rarity card is not just to pay for them, but it's also an element of surprise and frankly delight when you get a special card in a pack. So expect more details on how exactly this works. But what I can also tell you is that we won't disclose everything because what will be the fun in that?
I agree with that. One last question from the community, from the live audience. Sorry. What incentivizes us to buy packs rather than create thousands of accounts trying to get a lot of players?
That's a very good question. And buying packs, will make sure that it gives you an advantage compared to whatever you can get for free, because otherwise, why buy it? And so, right now, when you buy a pack, you can get guaranteed World Cup card edition. And so that is because many of you told us, hey, we really want these World Cup cards. How can we get them? So we created a relatively straightforward way to make sure that you can get access to this. You can also get them in the free packs, but it might take a lot of free packs to try to find that card that you want, and even harder if you want a specific player. So we are going to be balancing those things, but we certainly do not want to incentivize anyone to create millions of accounts, because as a matter of fact, we might be building some disincentive for this, very simply because it's not in the spirit of our community. And if the incentives that we provide encourage this behavior, we will make sure to change them to ensure that there is low value in doing those kinds of activities. And there will always be bots. We don't kid ourselves. We've been doing games for a very long time. They're not new to Web3. They're not new to Matchday, and they are not new to this game specifically. People have always tried to get an unfair advantage using sort of things that are against the rule or against the ethos of the community. But we will try our best to try to minimize the impact of this behavior, to try to discourage it from an incentive perspective, and really try to encourage genuine conversation and genuine behavior around, getting the free packs, giving you more chance to win cards in fun ways, not just, like luck, but also like contests and different activities that we might be launching. So watch Twitter, watch Discord, watch your email. We'll be throwing, a kind of different opportunities to get special cards. And then once the marketplace opens, to be able to trade them amongst friends and decide if you want a specific player from a specific a community member to be able to make them an offer or to be able to exchange those assets.
Oh, perfect. It's time to wrap it up. Actually, I think though, Sebastien, there's a campaign coming up to get some free cards that maybe we can already mention that it's coming up soon.
I think that's right. I think you're going to be the first to hear it here, but more details to follow. We want at the moment, one of the main focus is to really spread the word about Matchday, and we are immensely grateful that you are all here, that you're all fired up. I know some of you are up in the crazy hours of the night to listen to this or to be in Discord. So we will be rewarding anyone who invites friends in this experience and allow them to discover this during the World Cup. And so look up for details on Discord and on Twitter. But we will be opening a window by which if you invite friends, as many as you want, using your refer link, which you can get by clicking the invite friends button, and 3 friends accept your invitation within the open window, you will receive exclusive World Cup cards in your account. So, get there, be creative. I've seen some people already doing like some amazing campaigns, explaining to their friends, why they should join. That's the spirit, is to try to share the fun. What we'll be dropping are like 3 exclusive World Cup cards once 3 of your friends have accepted as part of this campaign. So there are many World Cup cards. These will be special ones. So look at the rules, ask questions, and see you in Discord.
Yes, exactly. So closing this, thanking everyone for being here. Thanks everyone for your questions. Huge shout out to our moderators that help us a lot. To Sebastien, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, everyone. And rest assured, you are in the very, very beginning of a very exciting project. So congrats for finding Matchday, and let your friends know about us. And may the best win this World Cup.
Exactly. Keep tuning in here in Discord, social media for new updates, because great things are to come, as you could hear today. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a great morning, night, evening, whatever is on the menu for you at the moment.
All right, onwards, guys. Bye.